I'm sorry, I was paying attention.
So the water rate, the water rate going, the water rate from Xenia went down for the first time in how many years? It's kind of like 60% in the last 5 years.
Yeah,
I think he's getting at, instead of raising electrical rates or doing a franchise fee to catch everybody, could we do that in the form where you
No,
guys
because the
did
money
it?
can't be blended.
Right.
Okay, you
Electric
can't
and water.
use water to pay electric.
That's what I was
saying,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, gotcha.
Action's working.
well,
That's the
okay.
whole limitation on the utility
Well,
side. You're on a one-way street with each money flow versus on the city, you've got multiple levers to blend.
And I think that's where a lot of the citizens are coming at, is just keeping that separation,
Yeah.
and because it is Stuart Utility, Stuart City, whatever the case may be. And now that's what the perspective is, that there's two different entities here, and now it's kind of combined, and I think that's where the head scratching's coming from, like,
Yeah.
what's happening here?
So if you're out at Womble and what the church land was sold at, is that phase 2 or 3? I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know. But between the school and the vet clinic, that is Stuart Electric and water. So if you live there, and we raise these rates, people across the street would not get that impact because they're already see. That's how hip is. It levels the playing field by avoiding all that. But anyway,
And then
I just want to make sure that you actually knew why in the world we talked about this, gave you the best numbers we could off of what we've got from CHIP. So there's 250 towns that do it. And to me, I think, looking at this, I don't think we have the right phased approach for how we're going to have to make these upgrades yet. We're just not there yet. So we don't know on the dollar amounts, know whether we have to raise electric rates as well, because we don't know the phased approach. What they told us initially, I think, was 5 and 2 million. Phase 1 was 5, phase 2 is 2. Is that like easier to consider, vice versa?
I think it's vice versa.
So maybe this 2 gets us someplace. I don't know. Anyway. You guys have any questions any further on, the background of this or not?
I mean, just a statement,
Yep.
correct me if I'm wrong. We have a Mid-American franchise fee at 5%. What other ones do we have? Do we have a Mediacom franchise fee?
Yes.
Is there anybody else? Was there any complaints about those?
No, because
One of
Remember
those,
those?
I do remember when I first moved to town, I can't tell you which one it was, could have been telephone.
great point.
I remember voting on it, too.
The gas franchise fee, there was.
That was very.
I mean, the first time, when they implemented it the first time.
No, when we,
I remember voting on one when I first moved to town, after 2003, I think. Maybe it was before that, but
Before my
I
time.
think we voted on one since I moved to town.
So does everybody see this column on the right? Down from reserves for the improvements needed, and these numbers are guesstimates of what we got, okay? They're not anything. So what Mike and Neil had talked about was a shared cost of 95,000 estimate minus 20 from the counties and what the city already got. So that left us with 75,000. So if we got $75,000 and you use 2 million, if you deduct 2 million or deduct 750 from 2 million, it's 1.25 left. If we get the low interest loan, which I'd like to ask for approval for CHIP to go apply for that quarterly. Okay. So if you get that low interest loan, you finance 1.25 million at 2% on 20 years, the payment's $76,446 ballpark. You don't have to raise utility rates. I'm just saying that. So I would make a motion to ask the CHIP and whoever, Brick, go apply for that money, because we know we're gonna need it. And this wouldn't cost anything, there's no obligation, we're not spending money. It would just be if we could get a bond market money at 5%.
Because I know words have, you're not getting 75,000 from the city.
We're saving, I'm sorry,
You're
you're right.
saying,
Yes,
because you
you're right.
know
I'm
somebody's
sorry.
gonna walk
I
out and say,
misspoke.
oh, they're gonna get this. So
I'm
you gotta
sorry.
clarify that
You're
you
right.
would save that,
That's correct. Very good.
that cost savings.
Cost savings, and then labeled it that way,
Yeah.
cost savings by city on shared staff.
Yeah, and we're still two separate entities.
Yes.
Is there like a contract, because, boards change, and they could say, why are we paying for this? Why is it?
That's why we sent it
That's
to
what the
Steve
motion was that we
and
referred
Chip.
to.
That's why we talked about it, that special meeting.
It's a binding agreement that's gonna last for the life of.
That's what you guys moved on, right? That's where you got, then you changed it to 80 and then voted against it.
Because I was against the franchise fee,
But then why change it? Why would you ask somebody to change a motion you're gonna vote against on anyway?
because I thought you'd vote for it.
I'm all for it either way.
I convinced you.
So what terms would you support a franchise fee?
Well, I think for starters, I would like to see us, whatever we do it, for starters, if we do franchise fee or not, I would like to see us just flat out charge the utilities for their rates. We can talk about anything beyond that, but that really wasn't how it was presented. It was just, because it was all about, we were gonna put that towards employees. That's how the whole
Yeah,
thing was
shared
presented.
staff.
I like to see something, I do like to see the money kept separate, I do.
And this would,
It is.
this would keep.
Yeah, I guess,
you
you know,
would
Dan,
not pay-
I don't
City.
understand where we're hung up on this, the money is not separate. It is separate. We would collect the fine, or the franchise fee. You would just save 76,000 and not pay the city for the cost sharings. You would save that, you're not, I don't understand the blending where we think.
That's how it looks
His
to
point,
the
his,
public.
his
That's
point
how-
is it better to make that 75,000 equate to water and electric charges versus employees? That's all, is that, I mean,
Is it
At
just
least
the
a
way
portion
it's-
of it. Yes, a lot of it is, because it's not straightforward.
anyway, so who submitted the petition?
I did.
Would you like to withdraw it after looking at these rate increase scenarios or not?
No, correct me if I'm wrong, but electric rate increases are subject to the Iowa Utility Board, correct?
They pass them down to us. and-
Yeah, we raise
It's
rates as we
exciting.
need, so I mean, this would be,
That's only.
so potentially, I mean, this would look at it, if we just did exactly what you guys have asked us to do, it would, you know, you're looking at a 30% increase, taking the engineering off the top.
Well, his petition does it. If you put it to a vote,
Petition.
you have the opportunity to convince the public.
Sure.
I mean, I've done it before when we did the library one years ago, when Sandy was here.
But-
Police went out and
I
I
don't
went
know
out
what
and
has
campaigned
been
for
said
it.
to people about it either, so. I mean,
When
the
I-
information's right here.
When I requested people to sign the petition, the only motive I have is to send it to a city vote. I stay completely neutral on the whole thing, and I'm not gonna give my public opinion right now. But, you know, it seemed like one complaint is, you know, having public more involved with the happenings in city government. I think this is a good first step in the right direction.
Don't you
But
think
that,
people could actually see what's going on? Because there's people that are trying to watch tonight and halfway through the meeting, you finally get to see what's going on.
Is it working now? 'Cause
It is, my mother-in-law just texted me, she said it was working, but, I mean, it's hard to watch things when
It's
they're
on the
not being
agenda.
streamed. And the other thing is, if you put it to a vote, isn't that just costing us citizens more money? Because you have
Yes,
to
it would.
pay for it to go to a vote.
so one thing I would say, you know, before we had, you know, I think I brought this up to the council to live stream our meetings, you know, because I felt it'd be a good way to do that. You have that for how many years? Since the dawn of time, people had to take an interest in their government instead of just letting them pass stuff. So to say, you know, well, you know, people more involved, you know, that's not our fault, that's not the utility board's fault. That's just the way the public is, evidently. You know, I've always encouraged, I talk to people, I say, come up and get involved, sit in a meeting, run for office. If you really want to learn stuff, run for office. Because I didn't know any of this stuff before I sat up here. And it's opened my eyes. It's just not this is not an easy decision. And without this board, like Brian said, they would just come in and say, you need to do a $7 million thing. I should work it out. Boom, there goes your rates. They're doing the citizens of Stuart a favor, trying to figure this out to save everybody money. Yes, you're gonna probably have some REC customers that their rates would go in, but they live in the city too. So what's more fair is to charge everybody in the city something? Now they got a little skin in the game, or you just charge certain people in the city and raise their rates.
I mean, to add on to that, if the utility board decided, let's start charging the city, we may or may not be able to absorb that in our budget. So what are we gonna have to
You
do?
can raise taxes.
Raise
Great
taxes.
point, Greg. That's great.
So it's,
But we're raising taxes here anyway. I mean, that was one thing I would like to see.
But
Part of
Either way, it's gonna affect everybody.
Yeah.
It's just bill. But you guys have an opportunity to put this to the public and convince them. You do, to sell it to the public.
So,
And the vote will fall how it may.
like I said, the only thing I would ask and make a motion on is that we allow Chip to apply for this. It's called Energy Infrastructure Revolving Loan. It's through the Iowa Economic Development and Finance Board. So I'll send you the link if you want to, if you want to send it to everybody.
That's board decision. You need a motion. Board decision. You need a motion for the board.
City?
It is board decision. But he's proposing.
I just emailed that
Oh,
link to you.
I got one more.
Dan,
Sorry, I got one more question.
Dan made a motion.
We got one more.
Sorry. Do you know how many votes it takes auto petitions to actually make, is that what you have to ask? Is if only 80 people sign this petition and we're a town of 1,600, does that even really?
10% of the last people voted, which 216, so it's about 22 people needs to sign a petition.
Okay.
And there is, the petition we received is a valid petition. Just have to run it by city attorney for clarification, the next step to it.
So essentially, me as a citizen is gonna get penalized almost 28%. So that way we can save them 5%
Say the REC people,
and the farmers co-op people.
yes, yeah.
Plus you're
That's a-
paying attorney fees to have it.
Oh, yeah, even more attorney fees and election fees, which is gonna add up. Nice to know.
I mean, I think to that point, you know, Brian, you mentioned that your rates will go up 5%, right? $4 to $8 on your electric bill. But Chip's proposal to raise additional $1 for the city side, right, would have cost the $100,000 house $4.80 some cents or whatever, right? So,
A month. Right?
$24
a year.
yeah, yep. Which is what you said, right? 4 days. Everybody in the city, right? And then the county to do that or not, and then they said no. So then, to me, that where it gets muddy is that we weren't willing to do that on the city side, even though they're getting the money, and then we are willing to do that on your electric bill, but it's a similar amount of money for the city. Or well, I don't. The numbers look different depending on whether they're taxes or whatever.
So
But
what Kim said
I'm
in the beginning,
confused. Are you raising $1 on property taxes versus raising on electric rates? That's what we're talking about. Well, not everybody owns their house, so not everybody pays
That's
property taxes.
right, so that's what
But
we're
everybody
talking about.
pays their own
Ratepayers.
utility bill.
And that was
So
also
that's why
to
there's a
help
ratepayer versus
compensate
taxpayer.
TIF funds. It had nothing to do with this conversation.
Right, that's.
That was all
totally
related
different
to
conversation.
TIF and not saving,
But-
that cost
but
savings we
it's-
can apply to the city or to the
But
utility board.
it's still a cost, an additional cost every month to the citizens, whether you're talking the whole city or just, you know, a certain select who pay for their electric, is what I'm getting at. you know,
Yeah, I mean, I'm
because
just making sure we understand that conversation separate and what it was being used for. is separate.
Correct, yes, yeah, I'm just, cost to the citizen, I think is where the citizens are coming from, right? They're like, you know, is this cost useful to us? And I'm saying that that's kind of where I think it gets money in their head out there.
Okay, guys,
yeah, it's,
we're getting too much.
We have a motion. Second motion. Second motion by Neil, we have moved by Dan, second by Neil.
Jones,
Yes.
Belden.
Yes.
Sherman.
Yes.
Crawford.
Yes.
AB, yes.
Okay.
sorry,
D.
one last thing, I'm sorry. On the council, you guys worked with us. Corey, you mentioned you had some concerns about, relationships and stuff. There's been a lot of things we've worked on and had a positive relationship. Speed cameras, the Womble edition, we paid that share, and this franchise fee is in the tent as well. So, I mean, things are positive.
Okay, Jim, you come up to the podium. I'd say the
No time to
microphone,
charge.
but we don't have a microphone.
You know, I don't need a
And we're
microphone.
supposed to have a microphone for all these people. Where's the microphones at?
Well, we're gonna- The little one.
Those little gray boxes.
Go ahead.
Okay, it was put in here in this joint meeting. I would like to, with council's blessing, replace Public Works employee Corey Geisinger that left in May with Josh Renslow, former city employee. In speaking with Josh, he feels comfortable getting a wastewater license like we required Young Mason Berkeley to do. I would like to put Josh in the Public Works Department with the same rate as Mason at $25.36 per hour as a full-time, full status employee. applicants have been very limited.
Yeah. Have you heard any more on any other applicants or?
I have not at this time. I've got a line on a couple of wastewater operators that I'm,
And how long did Josh work for you before?
Josh was here 8 years.
8 years, okay, so he kind of knows the business.
Yeah, very well.
I would say so.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody, I'd make a motion to do that on the. But,
Yeah. Sorry. Sir, did you say that, we had an application from somebody that applied with a grade 3 license?
I think, I can't remember if it was a grade 3 or a grade 2, and then there was another email, and I had given him Jim's number.
I got that. And that's on the wastewater side.
Yeah.
I guess my whole thing is in thinking is with Josh put back in here, that would put us back to the 3-person staff. We still need a wastewater operator to replace me when I go. I've been in contact with a couple people. What I ultimately like to see is what we did several years ago is the wastewater operator helps the public works guys when needed and vice versa, because there are certain things in the wastewater field, in the wastewater side, that can't be accomplished by one person. Anything like that, you've got to have those other people. And I work the other way, pouring concrete, several things that you need that extra set of hands.
And not to
No,
screw
you're
up
fine.
your
You're
motion
right.
by no means, but should we set a limitation on when he needs to get his grade license? And if we don't, then, 5 years, we might be sitting here like,
Sure.
okay,
I
is
just-
Mason and Josh gonna get license, or what are we
You're fine, you're fine,
doing?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're fine.
We required Mason to have a grade 1 within 1 year, and that's the same thing that I would propose with Josh.
Okay.
And how long's Mason been here?
Mason's been here a year and a half, almost 2.
And he hasn't got it yet.
No, he was just made, it was just part of his wage bump there in August.
Of last year.
He's due in August.
Okay,
He's
so in
due,
August,
he's
okay.
due this August to have it.
Okay, gotcha.
Is he on track?
You'll have to ask him that.
If this goes through, do we need to redo what we're looking at
Yes,
as far as what we're trying to get
yes,
on all of our postings and stuff, right?
Yep.
So we would need to.
narrow the field, yes.
Does he already have his CDL?
Josh, yes,
Yeah.
that's class B CDL up there.
So I would amend my motion to add the 1 year, that Corey suggested on there for the wastewater.
Okay.
Moved and seconded. How do you vote? Dolly?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Cobal?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
Patrick?
No,
Thanks, Jim.
Yep.
Thanks, Jim.
If you want to read all that.
Okay,
C,
thanks.
C.
C, city utility employee promotion, Sarah Stouffer from deputy clerk to city clerk. Possible closed session under 21.5 LI to evaluate the professional competency of an individual whose appointment, hiring, and performance or discharge is being considered when necessary to prevent needless and irreparable injury to that individual's reputation, and that individual requests a closed session. I am not requesting a closed session. Okay, I have one thing to say. I gave all of you guys what the job duties are of all the office people, not Ash or Nadine, the other 3. So this will help tonight, and this will help when it comes time for raises. So you guys know, because I didn't know what their job duties were, and I don't know if you guys know what their job duties are. So I put that in the pack. Thing to say on this.
Have a question.
Okay,
So like right now, we advance her to city clerk. We just have one person that has that official position of city clerk. Is that all we can have? I'm asking, I don't know. We are gonna have, because we have a city clerk and a deputy city clerk.
No, well,
I am the,
he is the city clerk.
I am the city clerk.
So he will be
treasurer.
getting paid for city clerk and she'll be getting paid for city clerk.
So
I
we
thought
would-
I didn't know we could have two. That's my question.
You have city administrator who does all these.
Right.
So if you take one of those position title and give it to someone, it's not gonna change anything. Still the city administrator have all these positions.
Okay, I just thought it was an official
Yeah.
position.
Any other cities have, 2/3 of the cities in Iowa have administrator to level. When I came here, they said, we take the whole package. I said, yes. I wear so many hats.
So we'll have two city clerks, we won't have like a deputy, that's my question.
You know, you'll have city administrator and city council.
So you got two people getting paid for city clerk because it's in his thing as city clerk
Okay.
also.
Yeah, if you look at the ordinance, you have to look at the ordinance, and it is out there online.
Right.
Readily available. I believe it says as your administrator, treasurer, and you perform the duties of the city clerk.
And add to with the utility.
Oh, yes, and the utility
Utility
side.
secretary, utility
Right.
board, financial advisor. and-
So he is in effect our city clerk
I
right
knew
now.
that. That's why I was asking, we have two city clerks.
That you would really, you would have two city clerks at that time. Yeah.
I just didn't know if we can get that.
I don't know if there's any limitation, you know, that would be a attorney's decision on that, because
Yeah,
I
that
don't know
was
the
my question.
legalities on that. It seems a little odd to me, and especially after our discussion last time, you know, we were talking, there's no job duty changes, it's not like taking on any more responsibilities or whatever. And to me, that raises the question of, well, what's the point? You know, if there's not gonna be signed, you know,
It states under the city code, under city clerk, that if the city clerk or the administrator is not there, the deputy clerk takes over. So that, right now, that is part of her.
Okay, I would like to just repeat myself, maybe that will make more sense. We try to invest in our employees. We're having a hard time finding employees. And you see, Jim just talked about it, that he's bringing George that he used to work for us because he is really having difficulties finding employees. She does a good job, and I kept talking about that last meeting. I don't want to repeat myself, but she is a good investment for the town. You know, if she is doing a good job and we want her to be the future of this thing, who is the city for Stuart? Why don't we invest in it? It's not about titles, it's not about raise, it's about getting the employees to be motivated. She has a whole life ahead of her here in Stuart. She will retire here. They build a new house here. She comes here first thing in the morning before anybody. She leaves the last one. She's very dedicated. And I'm trying to invest in her with your help. All of you, board and city. You can look at it any way you want to look at it. I'm looking for investment in an employee that's willing to spend the rest of her life here in Stuart and retired here in Stuart. We can find any way to promote her, any way to appreciate her the way you want it. It doesn't have to be how I recommend it. If you think it's violating the code of,
I just asked the question.
which is a good question, and I give the answer. All the towns have city administrator and city clerk and city treasurer and all that job, all the jobs that I have. In other towns, you have different people doing it. We're not doing anything different than any other town. But my idea about Sarah is to invest in her. She is worth to be invested in any way you want it. You can give her a big raise, you can give her a title. What I'm trying to propose is something that can keep her with us happy. With your help, we can do that. But if you don't agree with it, it's up to you, you know. I'm not asking for myself to be promoted. I'm asking for Sarah to be promoted. We're not talking about me. We're talking about her and trying to get her to be more motivated. We did that with the three guys that he were gonna leave us. We gave him big leaves to stay with us, and he stayed. So it's working to invest in your own employees to keep. If you don't like the idea of how we put it as a clerk or something, that's fine. We're not doing any violation of anything. If you like it, it's fine too. If you would recommend a big raise for her, like I was gonna recommend, it's good too. The idea is back again, investing in her.
So can I ask a question?
Sure.
And since we're open, are you happy? We should do that.
I am my personal goal to become a city. 20 years ago, almost 10 years ago, I was appointed to the utility board. And the opening happened at City Hall and I made the transition. And this has turned into a career in public service that I've really enjoyed. And so I'm going to continue to pursue my goal. And I would prefer to do it in Stuart.
Thank
Does this
And
open
she-
up, oh, sorry, go ahead.
She is going to all the training available. She is investing in herself, doing her own personal education, trying to get to be certified city clerk. She's doing what she has to do, and I work with her every day, and all the other employees work with her every day, and they see that. They see her improving, they see her getting more learning on the job. So that's really the whole idea about it. And I think I would like to see a vote for that, to see how you feel about it.
So all we have on our agenda right now, the details wise, is just a change in title. What is the rest of the proposal?
I would like to see her getting $10,000 more than she's making. Half and half. Utility get 5,000, city get 5,000. Very reasonable to promote her, to make her more happy.
I didn't know my hearing aid was worth
$10,000.
5,000 you guys and 5,000 us.
Yes, and
Okay.
that's similar to what we did with the street guys. It's not really far from normal. Recommendation, thank you. If you don't,
You throwing that at us and here we're trying to save money.
investing in your own employees is saving money.
I understand that, but this is my feeling on it. We're gonna be doing raises in what, a couple of months?
Yeah.
So let's just wait till it comes to raise time and then we decide then.
Are we opening up anything for, we will not have a deputy clerk? I mean, we have 3 other people that work in here. Are we then going to, are we looking at bumping everybody?
When it comes time, she was a billing clerk, and we made her a deputy clerk because the deputy clerk before her left.
Right.
So the deputy clerk, she went to all the training available. She's qualified to get clerk. So we're giving her that promotion, to kind of tell her thank you for going through the training and trying to promote yourself. There will come a time that you need to promote someone else who's willing to go schooling, training, and all this stuff. We're still not there yet.
To the deputy clerk?
Yes, yeah, why not? Because this is life. You gotta promote people to take over, and that's what I call succession. As Neil referred to last time. Succession is creating success, deliver it to someone else. When it comes time that I'm leaving, I want to deliver as a successful organization. By doing these things, it's what I call it, in my opinion, succession. Exactly as Neil was proposing. To put things in the right place and deliver it to another. I'm trying to do that. If you agree with me, thank you. If you don't, I'll find another way to do it. But this is really how am I looking at it. We came to promote or to keep employees. We did the same thing in a different way. We give more raise and all this stuff. And at this point, we were good at it, and I personally didn't have any opposition to it, to keep good employees. We like to do it the same, whether in a form of a title or a form of, actually, this one is a little bit saving because you may haven't had the utility take half, city take half. So the impact is easy on both. And you accomplish your goal by having the succession plan.
I'm just wondering, like, down the road, we would be essentially looking at having this same conversation with potentially someone else about the deputy clerk.
In another 2 years, it took us 2 years to be trained,
For deputy clerk.
yes.
Because Mike left.
Right.
Yeah.
I know, but I mean, we have,
It
I
takes
think,
time.
other people working in there, or potentially we might have some turnover in there that we would be talking about, and I don't know what that price is gonna be when we get new people in here.
Mhm.
Because when we have that conversation with every person that leaves, when we hire someone new, a lot of time, they want more money, we're so close to the metro, we want more money, so.
Yeah.
I'm just,
It's there, we never end. If you ask me, been here for 31 years now, it will never end. Because you always have to turn around, but if you do it, I took Neil's word and it meant a lot to me. Succession, if I define it right, is what we're trying to do right now.
So do you mind if we get into that a little bit more, succession planning?
I'm open for
I
everything.
just, like, do you mind if I ask, like, what's your opinion on if we, we have a city administrator right now and a deputy clerk, and at the time that you would decide to retire, nobody knows yet what that is, or move on to another, whatever. What's your idea of what the city and the utility would be looking for, is it another city administrator and then have a city clerk as well?
And if you ask me, yeah, you need another administrator if you're gonna go with the same rhythm of the line, because administrator is all about, that I'm not gonna try to get to the clerical definition and administrator definition, but I will answer to you briefly, about this. Clerk is running the day-to-day operation. Administrator is running the management of the whole town. So your policy, how you see your future here, needs to make a big part of that decision. If you just want to run day-to-day operation, you're good with the clerk. If you want to run a management of the whole organization, you need an administrator for sure. That's just brief, and we can sit and talk about these things because I don't want to shift from service issue.
So to
Yeah.
that point, to what you're getting at, a more holistic discussion on what the needs are going to be over the next couple of years versus, I'm just asking, is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, I mean, to
I mean, Jim Henderson's over here, which we already said he's not allowed to retire, but
to me, if you
the point is, I mean, you're
open the
gonna know
discussion-
more in a few months, right?
If
Because
you open the discussion for future city administrator, then there's a whole set of topics that you might want to talk about, like what does the new person have from a economic development background, or
Education,
education,
experience, all these
that
things.
stuff. But you might be, the city and the utility might be wanting to pinpoint on a certain topic. They're like, we'd like to focus on that for our next city administrator.
And I would be glad to help you out with that. That's something that I'm.
Not to
open
say you
about.
have any deficiencies.
No.
We could
all have
go
deficiencies.
to a different system too.
We can talk about that,
Just
but
you
I
brought
just
up-
want to bring it back to the.
you brought up a head
Point of
here.
order.
And to me, that's the conversation that I guess you guys are all, it seems like that you guys are all trying to get at, or you two anyway, is making a more holistic discussion and
Can we
let
bring
something like that.
Can we bring it back to the promotion and stuff, because we're kind of getting off track.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
But it's all kind of related though, if we're talking about promoting into the title of city clerk. So that's where it crosses over to me, like.
It can, I think it's a good idea, I guess we're not in closed session, so it's not really a thing, because
I don't mind focusing back on.
in closed session, you're supposed to just talk about the thing on there and not get outside, but it's not closed session. I guess,
Yes, we're not close to that.
I know, be quiet. Have you had any, has anybody ever brought any performance issues to you?
Performance, what?
Regarding Sarah, has there been any performance issues?
To Sarah?
Yes, regarding her,
No.
because there's not one, nobody's ever said anything
To me?
to you at all about anything, any interactions up here at City Hall or anything?
From the public?
Yes,
No,
yeah, from
I
any,
haven't received a one single complaint.
not one, okay.
You know, I guess one thing we're kind of missing from this, it's good information, but, you know, you're talking to give them a $10,000 raise. I, for one, don't even know the pay scales of all these positions. I'm more familiar on the utility side, having seen those multiple times. But I guess on the city side, I don't think I've ever really seen that. That's definitely something I'd like to see for my own knowledge.
Sure, we can get you information, yes. So we're back on the subject. Would you like to take a vote? Would you like to wait until what,
We're not going back and forth.
so what would you like to do? You want to wait until the raise time to talk about it?
I guess my 2 cents, and it's nothing personal by no means, we're just having a discussion. But in my career, all my life, you can't really promote into a position that's already taken. That's just my opinion, and I feel like that position's already taken. I get that we could have 2, but this is just strange for me to put somebody in the same position that we already had that person, unless you did leave. Like Kim said, that is in her job description to take over, if you're absent or whatever already. So that's just where I'm a little confused, a little wonky on things, just to be honest.
Which is fine. Okay, Kim saying that maybe we can talk, because I was gonna ask if we can give her a raise, but you wanna wait until we talk about it in
I wanna
comments?
make a motion that we wait till raise time and then we look at it again.
Okay,
And by then, hopefully, we'll know what it costs to get certain positions, police, Jim's position, whatever, from the headhunter. So know what we're talking about.
okay, we have a motion on the floor.
Is it joint? Can it be jointly seconded?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Oh, okay, I'll second that.
Second by Caldwell.
Go ahead and do yours now. Do you want?
Jones?
Yes.
Belden?
Yes.
Sherman?
Yes.
Crawford?
Yes.
Amy, yes.
Dolly,
Yes.
Russell,
Yes.
Kavah,
Yes,
Morgan,
Yes.
Kirkpatrick.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, number D, IT upgrades for City Hall. I talked to Sarah because we have problems, like we all know. Did you wanna tell them about that thing in the cupboard?
The last time that we had an IT guy out to do an assessment, he recommended that we get a new brain box for microphones. And, I mean, that's, you can tell, I call it a brain box, that's how technical I am. So, and we'd also like to figure something else out, because technology gets better literally every month with the camera. So, Kim and I discussed just getting your blessing to contact the IT company, have them come out, do a thorough evaluation and get some estimates for these upgrades.
And if the city would like to go in half and half with us?
Actually, it works this way.
What?
It works this way. Half and half.
Okay,
27%.
okay.
So what
So
would
we
you
can
say-
get it up and going.
What would you say is working well now? The projector's working fine?
We need improvement in the system. You know, these things is what, like
I just-
15 years old.
I just want to focus on the things that actually need to be improved or are not fixed.
Yeah, the guy said the main frame that operates this whole thing needs to be changed.
I think it was the sound system. The sound system and the camera, because you can still connect to the projector and watch it on the
Yeah.
TVs. It's, you know,
I'm trying to get it where if we get it, because when I talked to him, he said he's worried that the main thing out there needs to be upgraded. You see, so I want you to know that there is a possibility that we're gonna get that main frame changed, and we'll get with it all this vocal system here and how you hear us, how that YouTube work, because the camera might need to be changed. Well, a lot of it from the grant we get from Wesley County, Video County. So I want you to know that we might have to change the whole system. If you're okay with it, I think it's a good idea. We had that system 2010. So yeah, now it's 15 years. We might be in need of new system.
Was
So
there a
really,
range of
really,
costs?
we're just getting an estimate and then to find out what we need.
Yes,
You know, it's, I mean,
yeah,
I
and
would
I
love
wanna
to
say,
see different microphones and a bunch of stuff, but just to leave it at that, just let's see what we need to do and how much it costs, and we compare it down if we needed
So
to.
this is just to get estimates.
we gotta get this,
Just to get
show it
this-
to you
Right,
and
just
tell
okay,
you,
yeah.
that's what it takes to get the whole thing updated. And maybe we are in need to get it updated, because I think Mike was the only one that got us this idea to start with thank you, because of you, we have all these things. Really, yes,
Yeah.
he is the one was, came up with that idea. Because of him, we have YouTube and all these things. It's working very good. Maybe the technicality needs to be improved, but at least it's working. People seeing us now, and we haven't had that before. So thank all of you. We will bring you the estimate to look at and see, hoping that it's not gonna be big number or anything to make us.
Can we make sure they itemize it out a little bit instead of just getting it all?
Yes,
Good idea.
yes,
Yeah.
we'll get it breaking down for everybody. Hopefully, we will do it as soon as we can.
So this is the guy, the contractor from Kenora, or something?
Yes, he's our IT guy.
Are we limited to just him? Is there someone else that we should get, bids from to make sure? I mean, to your point,
We generally get like 2 or 3 bids.
I'm just
anyway.
asking. I wouldn't know who to call, but I mean,
Yeah, I
it's
don't
better than
know.
just having one and not
I don't
knowing
know
who's got
either.
baked in stuff.
We can read those. We
I don't know who to call.
Well, we don't either, but we'll find out.
Okay.
Yeah, we can.
Give it 2
Not a
bids.
problem. Okay, that would be the direction we're gonna go to.
Comment on that, I mean, I've got a highly technical background. If you wanna have me help you out with
Yes,
anything,
absolutely.
figure that out, let me know and I can
Thank you.
run through everything. What's that?
What's your schedule?
Craig, was
you.
it mentioned that
Yes.
you know how to solder that microphone right there?
Yes, I can resolder that.
Because everybody's coming up and.
Okay, you gotta take over the.
You might ask me as well, if you have certain contacts.
Yeah, we'll ask them.
Who'd you have?
Nate Western.
In Tiernan?
Yeah, and then too, yeah, we're gonna get everything, everybody. Okay, at this point, the council is done.
No, we've got 7 and 8.
That's utility board. 7 and 8.
Between the city of Stuart and.
No, it's between the city and,
Where's 7 and 8? That's.
that's over this
No,
franchise.
Yeah,
No, that's
that's,
us.
no, that's for
That's
the,
just us.
Yeah, so-
that's utility
so the
to
only thing-
approve, and it needs to be tabled, but we'll get to that.
So you gotta read that.
Mayor, you wanted to talk about letter B under this, board discussion. Is it better we do that with council here real quick?
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Okay, so you don't wanna adjourn the council?
I'm asking him.
No,
he wants to, I wanna talk about
on 6B,
6,
B.
okay, go, okay, go
B
ahead.
and C, Brian.
B and C.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, yeah, that's what I
Go
meant
ahead.
to see, not B. Go ahead.
So, I wanna know what's update on the Morrison poll for Paige Williams?
We're waiting on Forrest on that.
And
I
Steve
do
Brett?
know that. No, not
Forrest
Brett.
and Steve.
Just Forrest.
Britt's caught up. Yeah, we're waiting on everything.
Okay.
It's Forrest.
We came up with the idea and Forrest was going to present it to them, and they have it back up from Forrest.
Okay.
So can we follow up with them? Because we were supposed to have that in January and then.
We keep asking, then they keep saying we don't have anything yet.
Okay,
Give them
so-
a time, give them a
that's
timeline,
That's a problem. So if it's not done by March, then we'll go someplace else.
give them a timeline.
You know, I mean, we're volunteers. We're paying these people to do this stuff.
I know.
No, I know.
It's kinda like,
It's just,
Beth, do you have anything to say about that? What's going on with it?
he just said,
I
he's
just-
waiting on.
I'm kind of waiting on Forrest because he was
Yeah.
gonna make contact with Paige about our last discussion we had.
I guess by next meeting, we're gonna have an answer.
Yeah, the water study's been going since September.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
got,
6 months. And
Yeah,
if
we
we don't
got an
have some
email
progress
from
and closure on this
them.
stuff.
There's no update
Yeah.
available on the water.
I just read that email
Yeah,
yesterday.
okay, that's fine. All I'm saying is we're writing checks and paying bills. And if we're not getting a lift on that, then there's other.
I'm with you, I'm gonna get it.
I'm not trying to be rude, but it's business. If we're not getting
I'll
that.
put it on the agenda next meeting and we can do what you want. Yeah. Okay,
Okay, C, sports complex restrooms. Can I have you come up here, Jim? So, tell them what you've done so far on Old Field restroom. The reason I'm trying to push to get this done, the little kids up to the old football field, there's possibly 200 kids on a weekend up there playing, and tell them what you've done already.
Well, basically, there was question as to whether the sewer was even sustainable to use. So I flow tested both sides of it, and I have no issues at all with the sewer flow coming out of there. So it's just a means of getting water reestablished, which I've been working with Ben and Trevor. We do have a plan formulated, what needs done. We just gotta wait till the weather breaks to where we can get the line that goes down to the concession building located. And there's no tracer wire with it, so we've gotta find it a different way. And then we'll tap a line off of it and run it into the bathroom, and then it'll need everything replaced, basically toilets, and the sinks are fine, but toilets and the piping and stuff will have to be replaced.
But originally, we had $150,000 designated for this project. We've still got $85,000 left. $26,000 was designated for the restroom updates, and Jim's thinking that few doors, toilet stuff, possibly $5,000. We can cut that price down a lot.
I've already got the rest of it spent, so.
Good.
Okay.
So what's left? Just the water line and fixture?
Basically, we gotta get water reestablished to the building.
Okay.
Like I say, we're midstream on that.
But the sewer is fine?
Yep, yep.
And this is the building.
This is the old football field bathrooms, the Southwick block building south of the football field, yes.
Is that the only bathrooms out there?
And then there's the ones in the concession building.
By the soccer field there, right?
Okay.
Yeah, those work, but have 200 kids, if they're playing on the west side, that's quite a ways to walk, and older people watching grandkids and stuff.
So, yeah,
Hopefully when they have things up and going,
That's
by
where we're-
soccer season.
that's where we're at.
So you guys don't need anything from us then on it?
No,
We're,
they're working.
yeah, I'm working with Ben and Trevor, and we'll make it happen. We just gotta get the weather to break and get the frost out of the ground.
Thank you, you and your crew for all the show.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, the council is done.
During the council. Welcome to stay or leave.
It's up to you. Take 5 minutes break.
Yes.
Thank you.
Brings
Gets cranky if we don't drop.
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather have it taken off. It looks like it's just bolts.
I think I told you, get it, how I used to do it. I do have a full bag in my purse, so that'll help.
We got it.
Okay. Thank you, Frank.
It's true.
Yeah.
And gotten 3 raising worse, 12%. That's right. On water, and we have passed it on to know that. So that's the part that's needed.
I'll need a small Phillips screwdriver.
She would have that.
Yeah,
Until January. Did he come up again?
Right.
So, franchise fund.
Oh,
Every
It's funny how I was
person in
thinking that way.
the town.
Well,
Because I wasn't even sure what a franchise fund was.
Yeah, but- I have that.
That's not a problem.
Yeah, that's okay.
Exercising my First Amendment rights.
That's right. Roll it down. And we're-
You know, go for a drop lab. Shame on you for getting involved.
that year, it's just, it's a ballpark.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, man, she doesn't stop. That's honestly, that's embarrassing.
So they're just taking breaks. She's the one who did Stephen on chat.
No, they're talking.
She has a room, I guess is what I'm saying.
Last I checked, she was on my page.
Anyway,
Yeah.
what do you think, James?
Yeah.
Is it everything you expected? More? Hope I'm not coming down. Start seeing what's going on last time, 2 weeks ago. Right, see you later. Thank you. See you.
Hey, Mike,
Hey,
if Dan's out there, will you tell him we're ready?
oh, sure.
Please.
No, she hasn't yet.
So those microphones and those are really good. Picks up these people that are there. But my wife, she couldn't hear.
You know, I noticed in here one night, I couldn't hear you.
That's what Lori said.
And I was back there.
We done, we're gonna get next.
Wait a minute.
Next month, bring it.
Yeah.
This is what I asked to be on.
That's what you
That's all I
Well,
Are these on?
Okay,
Call a meeting to order,
okay, so we are at,
number 7.
number 7.
Oh, no, we're
You got, Brian, you done
6A still.
6A?
6A.
I've got at some point, we talked about if anybody had any ideas for, initiatives or goals or whatever last month, and we've already been here for an hour, we don't have to continue, but I'd like to see the utilities consider, an investment in, designing a shovel-ready site. The state offers a program, I can't remember what the name of the department is, but, the city of Van Meter just acquired a data center, huge asset to the town, good paying jobs, huge consumer of power and water. I don't know if we even have a site that will work, but a company comes out and evaluates it. And
If we get somebody that comes to town and they have an excessive load like those data centers, it's in our power contract that CIPCO gets that load.
so we benefit in no way on the power side, it'd just be the
I
water.
wouldn't say no way, but very little, not as much as you think.
Gotcha.
But
That's good to know.
we have to share that with CIPCO.
Gotcha. So, anyway, that's something I'd like to bring back maybe at another time to say, here's a plan, not spend money, but just bring back some sort of proposal on, here's some other towns, here's the steps. I tried to find the broker. I thought if I could get the broker from Van Meter to come out here and do a presentation, they do all the work because they're the ones that benefit for putting it together. So if I can figure out who that is, then maybe I'll come out.
I think
Yeah, and so, if you look at them, there's all of this international invested in data centers. This isn't gonna stop, and they're good paying jobs for people. There's a lot of revenue from them and tax base, and so it's just, it seems like there's not a ton of these jobs, but there's at least 20, 30 of them, so.
And when they do come to town, most of them are willing to pay for the improvements we need. They pay for it.
Yeah.
It's not out of our pocket.
Yeah, and so, again, we'll just have somebody, if I can find somebody to come and present something, well, I will, but that's all right.
Done?
Yeah.
Okay, number 7. Approval of memorandum of understanding between the city of Stuart and Stuart Municipal Utilities.
You can,
Is that 7 and 8? Yeah. The same thing, so we just, I guess, go approve it subject to, review or whatever their motion was.
The approval of agreement between Stuart.
Is this the same thing that these RECs got?
It's the,
Memorandum
according
of
to the
Understanding.
hand of this franchise fees, submitted information say it needs to be approved by the utility.
Okay,
So both of them do.
Yes.
but it's probably better to do it subject to the Steve Brick's review,
Yeah.
council review?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that okay?
Yes, that, we're utility, we don't have the city.
No, I know, I'm just,
Yeah,
I don't wanna approve something that they
yeah, it's
may not
subject,
be able to do.
approval subject to
Steve's
Steve
direct
Blake's
opinion, okay.
opinion.
I'll
So
make
we
that
want
motion.
both of them
Yes,
together?
yes.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Ryan made a motion, didn't you?
Yeah,
Okay, second?
For both together?
yeah,
Seven
same
and
thing,
eight.
that's what I couldn't discern first.
Was there a second yet? Oh, a second.
Jones?
Yes.
Belden?
Yep.
Sherman?
Yes.
Crawford?
Yes.
AB, yes. Okay, 9, Xenia rural water rate increase.
This was a 14 cent per thousand decline. Is there anything that they attribute this to, or is this all you guys have to?
That's in there.
That's an
They
increase in the rate.
Xenia attributes their, having to charge us less because they joined that group of utilities and cities in the Des Moines area.
So their input is
Whatever that's cost, and their cost,
Overall cost, and that's where I got, that's where they're.
The overall cost has went down?
for the Xenia, yes, because they're part of a group now instead of being on their own.
So their purchasing power is better, is that?
A little bit, yeah,
Okay.
that's part of it.
Well, that's great.
But that's what.
So like Shirley said, the last 5 years, been 60% increases, you know?
Yeah,
Which
so
we-
for
it's
the last
it's not
few
been
years,
bad.
we had a 12% raise
Right.
each
Each
year,
this
and
week.
we never passed on to anyone.
Right.
So if we don't raise it, we're fine.
This is only about 1% increase.
Huh?
I have to say yes.
From Xenia, what they're proposing.
Yes.
Okay, if we don't raise it, we're okay. So what do you guys
Make
want?
a motion to keep rates the same for the next
You don't
calendar
need
year.
to
or what?
do anything.
Yeah.
We don't have
I
to
think
do
it's
nothing.
still, I think it'd still be good to put it in the minutes of exactly, you know, put this, I don't know what I just did with this, I'm sorry. Put this memo of what they're offering and say that we're not raising rates. I mean, I know we're not lowering them, but we're not raising them. To Shirley's point, maybe we should put a 5-year history in there. We just got told we're not sharing enough information, so if we go back to 2019 that Sarah sent me and put that table in there and add this year to it, put 0, I'm asking.
Make no difference to me, you know.
I'm just
With
saying,
what
is
you got
that
now.
more open? I'm just asking.
You can make a motion, say based on the information
You'll make a
below,
motion.
you don't need to increase it, we're not increasing it, is that what you want?
Well, he's saying that
I'm
if
saying let's
if we're more
provide history.
transparent with what we've been doing,
Give
we
everybody
didn't
more
raise them for the
information.
last 5 years.
Is that not,
He's just saying to show the public that we are trying to keep rates lower.
That's fine, that's what I'm saying, you can make a motion, say, because of the information we received, and we'll put it in the minute.
Sarah sent me this table, this only applies to residential class, and to Shirley's point, rates have gone 60% in the last 5 years. The board raised them in 19 3%, and 23%, 21 5%. No increase in 22. I think, I'm sorry, there's a 1% in 22, 0 in 23, and 1% in 24. So I mean, we're not passing the same value, or the same increase that we get.
Didn't we raise 3%?
Only on different classes, not on the residential class, which is 90% of the customers. We only raise that once.
I thought I thought it was on, okay, let me raise.
Anyway, so I'd like to see this table be in there and we just add a year to it that says 2025, 0%. That's just my thought.
That's fine.
So then when someone says we don't have any history or we have, or they don't know what that is, we can point to the minutes and say it's in there.
Okay, we'll say, based on the information we receive, and we will put that stuff in the minute, we are not increasing it, okay?
Can we have vote on it?
You wanna make a motion on that?
Sure.
Yep.
Moved by Brian,
I'll second.
Second by Shirley.
Jones,
Yes.
Belden,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Davy, yes. Okay, board authorization for board chairman to approve emergency expenditures. The reason I'm bringing this up is because Pat has, one was what, 2,000 or 3,000 on the windmill here that day, wasn't that what it was?
Wind turbine, yeah.
Yes. And I said, go ahead, because it was low. But then he had called me on another one and it was 20,000 or 15,000 or something? It was a lot higher.
It was quite a bit more, but not that high. I
Okay,
don't even remember what it was now.
I don't either,
It's
but-
been a long time ago.
yeah, but for something, I told him I didn't feel comfortable saying that it needed to go to the board. I need to know if he calls me, just for my safety, what's the dollar amount? How high do you want me to go before I say it has to go to the board? Just for my safety.
I think that's a great point, because there's nothing in place today, correct?
No, there is not.
So,
For me, I guess it's more, if we absolutely have to do this for the lights to stay on. He's the one that's, if, you know, he might be the one that answers for it if we don't vote on it anyway, and I don't know that he's gonna do anything that he can't justify. So I think in an emergency, like I said, if it's a matter of lights being on, he's probably gonna do it.
If it's a matter of lights staying on or the water flowing, I'm gonna do it anyway, and then I'll.
Yeah,
abolish it
and I
later.
understand that one. It's just like,
Asking permission after that.
Well, sometimes, I think that one time it was when we had to pay for that sewer that got hit. How many years
Yes, it
ago
was.
down here? And I
Yes.
called and said, do you wanna pay for that?
what's the
Yes.
maximum, Pat, that you've had to have an emergency situation for? I mean, since you've been here.
An emergency situation?
Well, yeah, what had to have happen.
I wouldn't know, I don't know if I would consider that an emergency, getting that paid, but we just kinda had a quick meeting, didn't we, on that over the phone?
What?
Over that sewer issue that we had to pay to get repaired.
But by having
No, that
this
was
policy,
never-
we actually save money because we don't have to call a special meeting. That's all I'm trying to get at. We don't spend money having a special meeting if we just do this. So I mean, why would we not? Just asking.
You want me to put my own limit on what I can spend?
Well, I was just
No.
wondering what Kim was asking for.
no,
Just-
what it
I know
is,
like at the school, the superintendent has a limit that he's able to spend without having to call a board meeting or anything like that, so, I don't know, what's reasonable?
But if it's an
5,000,
emergency,
10,000?
and we're out working in the middle of the night, we need something. you wanna
that's
call a board,
understandable.
then-
That's different.
That's different.
But if it's something just coming up, I don't know about, not necessarily an emergency.
I don't know. I'm just trying to, what if this and what has happened and how much that has cost. So, I mean,
In a normal
Everything's
situation,
expensive.
if it's within his budget, he doesn't need to call me. That's normal situation.
but I think he's done that because he's maybe wanted to make sure, or bounce it out just to make sure. I don't know.
Sometimes I bounce it off of Kim just so somebody else knows what's going
Sure.
on.
That's-
And that's good.
I just bounce it off you, I don't ask your permission.
So why don't we just
Well,
approve
you
the
had
policy
said-
and see how it works?
So this would be something that goes outside of your budget? Like,
Yes.
if it's going to increase your budget?
You had asked me, do I feel comfortable saying yes on that one?
Yeah, or we could have a meeting,
We can have a meeting, and I said, no, I do not feel comfortable,
because
let's have a meeting.
we wanted to do it in a timely manner when the contractor was
Right,
still here.
right.
So,
So I don't wanna have to say, I don't wanna say yes and then come back and, okay, Kim, why did you give him permission? You did not take it to the board.
so
I'm covering my butt.
So can we just say move to approve policy current and historic for
Who else can I
chairman
call now?
emergency expenditures up
Well,
to
you can still
25,000?
call me. It's just,
Yeah, I get it.
Is that? Move to approve policy current and historic for chairman AV emergency expenditures up to 25,000? Is that okay?
How much did you say?
25. Is that okay? That seemed to cover all the numbers we're throwing out.
but if you have a big emergency, you go ahead and you do it. Don't, if it's,
Oh, don't worry about it.
yeah, yeah.
I will. You can fire me later.
Well, no, you're not calling me at 2:00 in the morning, hey, Kim.
I will if you want me to.
No.
honestly, we don't have a lot of that.
I know, I just think it, from her perspective, it's a
I get
valid
it.
appointment, there's
I get
nothing
it.
wrong with having a policy in place like that, I think that's a good.
Do you wanna put, okay.
All right, we have a motion.
Make a motion.
We have, he already did,
Okay.
You can
25.
change it however you want, I just think,
Second,
Shirley second.
Shirley said.
Jones,
Yes.
Belden, Sherman.
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Avy, yes. Okay, city
I
administrator
would
reports.
like to, if that, as that happens, like just to have that as part of the monthly report, anytime there's emergency money that is being spent in that manner, just to make it be part of the highlight,
Absolutely.
so.
Well, and it's gonna affect the budget too. So,
I,
you know,
no, very good. We work it out now, I say we got a motion, so you move it.
well, yeah, but if, before, it would have affected the budget. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
That's the motion,
That's the motion Brian wants you.
I just wrote it down for you.
Move it.
That's the motion. So you can write it down, so Sarah can write it down.
You can't read my writing.
We gave you a whole pad of paper. We gave you a tiny little
I'm trying to be conservative.
Okay, your monthly report.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
Okay, monthly report, first page is a financial statement. We are at 6.7 million cash on hand. Next page, we're having between the beginning of July 1st to the end of January, we are at $28,000 plus. That's a good number. Next page is the budget. We still wasn't our budget. Our budget 3.6, we've been 2.2. So we have way to go. Page 4, we are between, that's just the month of January. In the month of January, we have a negative number of $286,000, and that's because we paid principal and interest on the loan that we had. We made 351 principal and interest. The next page is just for your information, the breakdown of your budget. You're all doing good. The lovely report after that is the delinquent account report. No change in it, and that takes us all the way to page 3. Next report, delinquent account paid in full, no change, and that takes us all the way to page 4. To get us to the next report, payment agreement, we added 6 people with the check mark on the right. Next report, paid in full payment agreement, only have one will be shown on page 2. And then that takes us all the way to the end of the report, which is gonna be page 8. Take us to budget billing report, we added 1 person with a check mark down at the right. Next report, deceased and bankrupt, no change. Last report is the situation around the offset of the loan for your information. Thank you all.
Okay, public forum.
Going back, sorry, I don't want to be a pain, to you, but going back to that low interest money, there's no money that should be spent right now, but I do believe that Chip will come back and ask us for a contract for services like he's done before, because the state deal is gonna involve a lot of paperwork. So the loan deadline application is done quarterly, and it's really important based on what Pat has talked about to get this thing rolling. It's gonna move slow, so if we can hit the April deadline, does anybody have a problem if I kind of nudge him to work with him to kind of get this going and help facilitate it, or not?
No problem.
Okay, and if there's any expenditures or proposals of those would come to a meeting, obviously, right?
Right.
But I'm just saying, that's, it'd be nice to get it in by the April deadline.
Okay, anyone?
Oh, sure.
I just wanted to present some more signatures. There's some extenuating circumstances for folks. One lady was in a wheelchair, her husband had to bring her to her, and had some neighbors sign. And then another lady, her husband was working late, so I wanted to submit those to you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, something that's coming, we have a maintenance contract on our wind turbine, and it is about $13,000 a year, and it is gonna expire at the end of June. And we just need to start thinking if we wanna renew our contract with Vestas to work on the wind turbine, which it's not near as good as it used to be. We used to have a group of guys out of Minnesota that would come every time I called them and they would fix it immediately. I've been through 10 different groups of people. They changed it. Everything Vestas in Iowa has to be worked on by somebody in Iowa, apparently. That's what they keep telling me. And it's hard to find a group of people. When I say a group of people, they normally come 2 or 3 at a time to work on it. And it was down a lot last year just because we were waiting for somebody to come fix it. And it's getting old. I mean, it breaks down quite a bit. So that's what our current contract is $13,000 a year.
And it's just renewed every year.
It's every 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
So do you have a backup or somebody else we can look at for options if you're not getting good service with them?
Well, I don't know if anybody else is gonna work. Tim would probably know more about this than I would.
So, yeah, when you get service from an OEM like Vestas, that's 13,000 just to be on call, correct?
13,000,
A
yeah, if
year,
they
just
actually
be on
come
call.
do something, it's extra
Yeah.
on top of that.
So OEMs like that, I mean, and no offense to the city of Stuart, but small potatoes,
Sure.
they're not gonna make as much money that way. Third party maintenance organizations are growing like crazy. And there's a ton here in the state for a lot of the old turbines that are around the state. I mean, there's a ton of wind turbines here. Yeah, there's a ton of options, that you could probably reach out to and see their familiarity with the D47 platform is what you have out there. The one issue you'll run into is obtaining parts for an old turbine like that. But luckily, there's organizations, a lot out in California, that still have parts and are still able to source parts for that platform. It's getting older. It was a workhorse of the industry at one point in time. But nonetheless, it is still getting serviced because, they're coming up with creative ways to replace the parts.
So that turbine, would you estimate there's a 1% of the turbines are on that platform in the state of Iowa, or 20, or do you have any way to size
the
that?
47s, a lot of those have been taken down. They've been decommissioned.
Yeah, so I mean, how much do we spend with this company?
It's a dinosaur. That is a dinosaur.
So you spent 13,000, how much did we pay them on top of that? I mean, last year?
Probably another 13.
It's still nowhere near the, I just can't remember what they threw out for numbers for new turbines or whatever. I mean, what's a brand new, the new ones are smaller, right? They're more efficient?
No, the new ones are typically bigger. They just
Okay.
produce more energy. There might be an option to repower that turbine depending on if the base bolts and tower sections are all right, and they could literally just throw a new generator and all that. I don't know what the cost is on that, but you would probably be able to produce more energy, which would make it more profitable in the long run. But once again, tower sections, when they're stamped in the ground, typically they're like, yeah, 20 years, that's all you're gonna get out of it. And now they're finding out, well, no, you get quite a bit more lifespan out of these towers.
You're talking about just an overhaul of the mechanics?
Yeah, it would be a repower is one option you could look at. And that's where if you bring in a third party organization to kind of take a look. I mean, it's back in the day, it used to be typically OEMs are going to hand you, that's it. But it's been opened up so big now because everybody's trying to save money in wind. It's not as profitable as it once was. That there's a lot of players that are hungry to get business, especially if it's close by here in Iowa, where maybe there's an option to repower it or service it or whatever the case may be.
Any sizing on what that percentage is of is it 20% of a new one, or?
Oh, I don't know. I think is that 750 out there? 750 kilowatt?
I believe.
I think it's 750. Yeah, so I mean, maybe you could get a 1.5. I mean, who knows? When I say 1.5 megawatt.
But I mean, the cost to get to that, is it, if a new turbine costs $2 million, is it 500,000? Is it 25% of the?
That's a loaded question that I wouldn't be able to answer. And that's one thing where you're gonna get price breaks if somebody's repowering 100 turbines, where it's just one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of variables in there.
Well, a lot of times now, when we do get somebody to come work on it, it's because Lennox has one too.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I think theirs is even older than ours, if that's possible. And that's why they come, because they can work on both.
So what do you guys want to do?
So we don't have to make a decision tonight, but do you want to just stay with Vestas, or are we better off going a different route?
That's what I'm saying, he just threw out an idea of
Yeah.
repowering the thing, what's it
I
cost?
would love to talk to Tim about this and get some names and numbers of people I can call.
If you'd like to chat about it, I'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you to see what options there might be out there as a third-party service provider to get away from the OEM. And then additionally, who would be interested in potentially repowering that platform? Because repower is like, it's a hot topic right now.
Is it?
So, yeah.
I think that turbine went in there in 2005, as I recall.
Yeah, it's 20 years old.
That's like
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been running fine for the last 3 or 4 weeks, but
It's done a good job.
it has, over the years, it's been good. It's just, I hate to say it's at the end of its life, because Tim just said we can make them go a little longer, and if we can do that and not have to spend a chunk of change on it, then maybe it's worth it.
Yeah, the only thing you want, I mean, if you do repower it, I don't know if there's a repower option for that turbine specifically. There might be, but definitely checking the tower sections, the bolts, all that. There's a special test that they had come up with to qualify it to be repowered for an additional 20 years.
Wow.
That might be,
Yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah.
should probably look into something like that.
What it costs, I mean, what do you guys?
I mean,
Get with Tim and get all that information.
we can just have somebody come and look at it. and-
There you go.
I mean, we don't have to have it actually done, we just get an estimate.
Yeah, Pat, I'll leave you my number and then we can chat about it and I'll do a little research on my end and see what options there might be available. I mean, like I said, there's a ton of companies that do this stuff now, and there's a ton of them that are working currently in Iowa that, oh, hey, there's a quick little job out here. Yeah, we got guys in town that have downtime today.
Yeah, give me a holler when you get some information put together and save a little money, because I am not happy with Vestas the way it is. I am not.
You and a lot of wind farm owners.
I know everything out here in America's got asbestos, but that one.
Yeah, they're having a little heartache with them as well. Allegedly.
I just wanted everybody to know what was coming. That service contract's up in June, so we probably need to do something before then.
Just what, you already know this, but this would be news to you. So the lag on these power improvements is 2 to 3 years, right? I'm sorry, on the infrastructure, the substation materials is 2 to 3 years, right?
The switch gear and transformers can be 2 years out.
Is it medium voltage or low voltage?
On
On the switchgear, the transformers, is it medium or low?
I can't hear you.
Is it medium or low voltage on the switchgear and transformers? Okay, what are we talking?
I'm talking about high voltage, actually.
Okay, so yeah, your transformers at minimum, I mean, some of the things that I'm quoting right now are 60 weeks and above. They can be. There is options of manufacturers maybe from China, XYZ, but that's never try to save money on equipment like that ever. I work for Eaton now, so I sell transformers and panel boards and switchgear and things like that.
You said 60 weeks, not 16, you said 60.
60, yeah, over a year.
Gotcha. So that's why we're kind of having this.
Something to think about when you're sleeping tonight.
Yeah.
Like you need something.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I'm done. I don't want to drag it out anymore.
Adjourn.